What is your will, my master?
Hey, what's up, Rory? Quick demo video for you for your Rise of Skywalker Graflex. As you know, I got this done this morning. This is my first install of 2022. It was a really cool one to start the year off with. So let's go over it, right? This is installed with a Proffie V2. It's got the Goth dual crystal chamber chassis that you provided me. And then you've got the stock V2 MPXLs in here, and it's got the holder in there that's got the magnet on the sides. Okay. How you get to everything is you want to just take the handle, turn it counterclockwise, and then kind of pull it out. It is very tight, so you want to be careful. You're probably very familiar with this. I think this is the second or the third one of these that I've done for you, so you know how to handle this, right? Because it's on that J-lock system. Once you take that off, here's your chassis. So you've got that, it's like weathered, I think this is weathered brass, or it might be a different material, I don't know, but it kind of looks like weathered brass. You've got two crystals in there. It's kind of hard to see right now, but I'll light this up here in a second. You've got that. This does have a static battery with a recharge port. So when you flip it over here, you're going to see this door. And just come over here and flick it open. And then there's your kill key right there, and then your recharge port. You've got a 28 millimeter Smuggler's Outpost Elite speaker in here. And then this is a 2-button setup. So your top switch, that's your activation, and then your slide switch here is your auxiliary. Because this is a Graflex replica, I think this is from KR Sabers. This is not on a spring mechanism, right? So this will slide back, it'll stay there. It'll slide forward and it will stay there. So when you go slide it back to engage your auxiliary button, you're going to need to manually bring it back up. All right, so it doesn't stay in place. One modification that I did was I used a different tactile switch for your main activation. So if we were to take this piece off right here, and again, this just kind of slides off if you do it carefully. You can take this out. There is a doorway here to get to the board, but you'll notice that the Graflex shell is in the way. So what I did was I used a low profile tactile switch. So you could come over here and take your glass eye out. Once you take this off, this allows you to take the chassis out. So you'll take that glass eye out and you can slide this chassis all the way out. Now the tactile that you gave me, that you provided with the chassis, was a little bit taller than this. This is just a small brass hat tactile there, barely any, I think the wires actually stick up higher than the actual switch, right? It had to be super low profile so that it would slide in and out of here easily. But this is what you're left with. So once you do that, you can come over here and you can flip this door up and you can get to your SD card and your micro USB from here. Or if you didn't want to do it that way, well, actually you'll have to have this door open anyway. But you can also take this lid off. This lid pops off. Close that. You've got your Proffie board right there. This was a chassis for CFX. So I just designed just a small Proffie adapter because Proffie is smaller than CFX. So I glued the adapter to the board and then glued everything down to the shelf. So it's not moving there at all. And that's how you get to the board, basically, right? And this just kind of snaps back in place. And it will stay there once it's in, once it's inside the saber, right? It's not going anywhere. So again, get your activation switch, that's your auxiliary switch right here, right there. This is a very sensitive switch. And of course, like I was saying, that auxiliary switch, you're probably not going to be able to see that in the light there, but it's not on a spring system. This is a true replica. It just kind of floats. So you need to pay attention to that not staying on the auxiliary switch. Now you want to line this switch up with your red button. And it'll slide all the way in on you. You'll know it's all the way in because you'll see that clearing for your glass eye. Once you take this glass eye and you screw it in, which we'll do right now, careful on these threads because it is very easy to cross thread them. But once you get that glass eye and you screw it all the way in tight, that's what holds your chassis in place, right? So we're going to go ahead and kind of put this back together. Something I noticed on your Graflex replica here is that your it's on both sides. The place where you have the J-lock system, like this piece right here, this little tab and this little tab over here, they do stick out a little bit, which makes it a little bit difficult to get into the saber. But the nice thing about it is it locks it down. I was going to try to bend those in so it was easier to get it on, but then I realized it was actually helping the handle stay on, so I'm not going to mess with it. All right, just realize you need to kind of finesse it a little bit when you get it in. But we'll come over here and we'll pull a kill key.
The saber. Take it.
Now, you sent me the SD card, and I didn't go through and count them, but at quick glance, it looked like you had about 50 sound fonts on there. I did not program the Saber for 50 sound fonts. What I did was I picked one, which was the Graflex 3. I made a config for that. It's got 3 different blade styles. I only used that one font in the config so that you could go through and you can build off that. It'll be pretty easy to see what I did, right? So we've got one sound font on here that's programmed on here. I left all the fonts obviously on your SD card, but I just did this first one so that I could show you that it was wired independently. So you can see the bottom crystal here is yellow. This one is white. They're both just pulsing on and off until you turn it on. And then I've got this one going to a blue, and then this one is this bottom one is a sky blue. And then you've got blue here for your blade. Nice shine through. You see what I said with that auxiliary? As soon as you come back to hit it, bring it forward again so it doesn't stay on the aux. Because if you just leave it there, right, it's not going to act right. We'll twist off. We could hit activation here. We'll play the music track. Once your crystals are going. And again, to turn it off, just long press the activation to turn it on, and then do the same thing to turn it off. So we'll go ahead and we'll throw the handle on here now. Now that you get to see the crystal chamber, which is really cool. This is the part where I say it's going to take a little bit of finesse. But you'll get it on, no problem. Just like that. And then it'll lock down into place. Flash on flash, blade lock up. Now, because I had to use a lower profile tactile switch for your activation button, I built up the bottom of this red button with some material in there so that it could press down far enough to hit that tactile switch and everything's working fine. We'll throw a blade in this guy. Your blade retention is, I'll show you here in a second. Let me loosen it real quick. You've got a single flathead screw right here. That's your blade retention, okay? I don't have a magnet on the tip of my blade. You don't need one. I went ahead and I used that holder because you provided it. I don't really ever use them. Normal blade fits in here fine. But of course, it's not going to hurt anything if you have a blade with a magnet on it, which I believe I made for you, right? Nice shine through here. Blade lock up. So you get that by holding down aux and hitting the blade or the saber. Then you get that blade lock up right here. Let go of the aux button and your blade lockup stops. Just like that. And we'll take the blade back out. Kind of a short demo because, like I said, I just used one of your fonts out of the 50 that you had. And I'll let you build that config up. So we'll take the blade out. I'm going to tighten this back down while I'm thinking about it just with my finger. And then when we're all done, when you go to build your config, you might put these crystal chambers on a time, like a timer before they go out. I did not do that because I was just doing it for the sake of this demo. But when you go into Fernando's library, Fett's library, and you start building up your accent pixels, the coding for that, you can put them on a timer so they'll go off after so many milliseconds or seconds or whatever. But we'll take this kill key and we'll put it back in, and then you'll see the crystals die out just like that. This is a turn key as well, so if you didn't want to take it out, you could turn it. I always prefer just to pull them out, but the option is there for you in case you want to do that. But anyway, that is your TROS Graflex. Let me know if you got any questions, and if not, I will get this out in the mail to you tomorrow. All right, thanks.